Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Tuesday, August 8th edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. I'm Spencer Israel, as always, joined by Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. On the show today, mostly earnings and a lot of ratings to get to as well. A couple of big notes we want to discuss. Some M&A news. Netflix made its first acquisition yesterday. We'll talk about that. McDonald's expanding in China. Apple maybe buying a major Bollywood property, and Marriott and Alibaba are getting involved in a joint venture. We're working on a guest today. Nick Shaheen is caught in a bit of a hurricane, so I'm not sure we'll be able to be joined by Nick today. So I'll keep you updated on that. But Joel, how are we doing in the S&Ps right now?
We are down 3 1/4 at 24.74 1/4. That pre-market high right up there against Monday's high. All kinds of resistance at the 24.80 level. Coming on the downside, we haven't even taken out the low from yesterday. The low from yesterday, 72 even. We had a close in that area as well. So still tight in consolidation. No definitive move yet in either direction. We have crude trading up 3 cents at 49.42, trying to barrel into that $50 handle. No luck as of yet. Gold up 5.20 at 12.69.60, and silver up a little over a dime at 16.36. Dennis, S&P's down 3.5. Are we hitting any circuit breakers on the downside?
I think so. That's a serious carnage here in the market to be down 3 points. When's the last time we came in here and we were down 3 points, Joel?
Oh, man.
Are we taking out the range yet? Are we out of there yet? Or are we still in that range that you've been talking about forever?
No, well, we poked our head. That close at 77.50 that we got yesterday. That was the all-time closing high. That broke the string of 13 consecutive closes between 68 and 74. But we're right back in that area as we speak. So need to break above 24.80, and I'll call 24.70 a major area of support because that encompasses all those ranges that we had just mentioned.
All joking aside, though, we know how this market works. And 3 points, whoop-de-doo-dah day. The VIX is still hanging out here near 10. There's not a lot of worries out there, even though there's, problems in North Korea. There's lots of things for this market to worry about, but it just doesn't seem to sell off. And all we do is get sector rotation here. One day it's going to sell off, Joel. One day we'll have volatility again. One day the VIX will be high again and traders will be happy. But as of right now, it is just quiet here once again, even though we're down 3 points. But individual stocks, we do get individual stock movement, and there are some stocks that are popping here this morning. And maybe it's the dogs that are barking today, because Michael Kors blasting off into orbit here. Stock that's been out of favor, disappointed on the last earnings report and had a little bit of a gap down while we're gapping up here this morning. Give us the results for Michael Kors, Spencer.
80-cent EPS versus a 62-cent estimate.
Whoa.
Sales of $923 versus $918.5 million. So a good Q1. As far as their Q2 guidance, that sales is coming in higher than the estimate. EPS is higher than the estimate. And then the fiscal year sales guidance coming in higher as well.
Party in the streets for KORS shareholders. Stock trading up 12% in the pre-market. It ran a little bit up into the report, but really overall it had been lagging as well. I mean, really in 2017, we're down for the year, but not anymore because we started the year right around $41 and we are back up over $41 here this morning. Joel's going to talk to you about the pre-market highs.
Oh, I love these gap into gap areas. That always creates fun and confusion in the market. I'll give you a level on the upside. The level on the upside is right around that pre-market high of 42.60. Before we had a big gap down, maybe that was after the last earnings report. You had a high at 42.82. So let's call 42.70 your 5-star resistance. The longer it takes to get back and clear those levels, get above 43, maybe little bit of a back and fill. I call minor support at 41 even. That's your 15-minute support. That's held up on the last three brackets. So holding 41, good to go north. Really got to bust above that pre-market high for continued upside. If not, we'll just chop around for a little bit.
Jumping over to other earnings here, VRX, another dog that's barking here this morning. It's up 6.5% in the pre-market. I was saying I'd like it if it got down to 14 and didn't quite get there. Got down into the 14 handle, though, kind of put a double bottom last 2 days, 14.95, 14.93. Now we get the earnings report. Spencer.
Yeah, for VRX, Q2 EPS of 11-cent loss, sales of $2.23 billion. They are also lowering their fiscal year 17 sales guidance. It was 8.9 to 9.1 billion. Now it's 8.7 to 8.9 billion. So they lowered it by about $200 million.
Stock trading up 7% in the pre-market. It's getting a good lift here. This is a good lift here for VRX.
It is, Dennis, but boy, you got a little bit of oversupply as a lot of people piled into this thing thinking you had to break out over $17, and then you had the breakdown. Pre-market high is 16.67, but even if you clear that area, you're not out of the woods, folks, because you got a triple top to contend with. Basis to daily charts just under $17, $6.94, $6.82, $6.86, and that was even above that a $17.60 high. So $17 critical level for VRX. And Dennis, how much Teva have you been buying lately? I've been looking for support in that thing. Closed on the low.
Just cannot catch a bid. This just goes to show you, if you shorted that thing on the dividend, in the pre-market on that dividend cut, you were shorting in the 26 handle. You've taken no heat all the way down. It's now at 18. I'm not buying or even thinking about buying Teva, and I'm not thinking about because of the debt load. But if I was thinking about it, I would at least wait for a green candle. This thing just falls $2 every day.
$15, maybe hold out for 15.
I'm not even guessing. I know. And this is what a lot of traders do wrong is they say, okay, well, 20's got to hold. It's psychological. Okay, now it's closed. 18.59 is ridiculous. I'm just going to buy it. And they're trying to catch the bottom. They're trying to call the actual bottom. That is a very, very difficult thing to do. Because you don't know where it is. This momentum is just people are coming out of this thing. People are in for the dividend. They're getting out of that. People are in this, because they thought, maybe at the bottom they're caught. People maybe who held this thing through the earnings report, they're caught. There's so many people selling and reasons to sell this thing right now. That's why it's very difficult here to just come in and call the bottom. You can get lucky and call it, sure. But I'm not in this game for luck. I'm trying to, have some type of an edge. So I want to wait till at least I see some type of double bottom form, or at least at the very minimum, a green candle. Show me a bounce day where, maybe somebody might get interested. But when you're just coming here, just trying to, pick the bottom, it's a difficult thing to do.
And also, just to give you a reference point is what you're talking about.
Don't have one.
Double bottom to lean on. Maybe we can look for a red dog reversal here. That's about all you can really go on. You take out the low of the move, you come back above it, you take your position and use that, that low, the new low as your exit point. But we're trading up 46 cents here in the pre-market. Really doesn't look like much when you look at the huge decline that it had. Maybe getting a little bit of a boost from the VRX earnings. So we'll see. What was yesterday's high? Yesterday's high is way up at 2014. So 20 could be the new battleground here.
I think
for
so.
Teva.
They'll have an overhead supply all over the place. Anybody who was trying to buy the bottom the last few days, I think, can it get a bounce? Sure, it can. It's bouncing a little bit here this morning. You can say, oh, if you bought the low yesterday, you're already up here, from the close, you're already up 2.5%. But, you're jumping in here trying to make 2.5% on stocks going down 10% a day. It's scary. And maybe that's the bottom. Maybe that's going to be the bottom. The dogs are barking right now, so maybe this is going to be a day that Teva might bounce. This day would be better than better to call it than any days because we are seeing some of the laggards have a rally here this morning. But that being said, I'm not going to try to be a hero and call the bottom in this. So I'm hands off until at least I see a green candle.
I could say one other thing to get you bullish. And there were over the last 3 or 4 days, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 downgrades. So
too many analysts downgrading it now.
Yeah.
Anybody downgraded today? I never even looked.
Nope. I got.
That's why it's up. It didn't finally didn't get a downgrade. That's why it's up.
All right.
You know what's going to be hot though? What is going to be hot? It's going to be the retailers here today. And I know we got a couple other stocks. Sure. We're going to get to the others' earnings in the chat. But I just wanted, why we talk Michael Kors, we talk VRX. Some of the laggards are Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren is trading up here too. The retailers, like we were saying, were all left for dead a month and a half ago, and then they started to catch a bid. And this bid is continuing now in retail earnings season, just beginning here, and they're starting with a bang. I mean, that Michael Kors report was great. Ralph Lauren, tell us about that report, Spencer. RL.
Sorry, I got distracted reading an analyst note.
I
got it. Ralph Lauren Q1 adjusted EPS $1.11 versus 94 cents. Sales of 1.35 versus 1.34 billion dollars. So pretty good Q1. Comps, however, down 7%.
This is serious here, obviously, with the comps being down 7% here this morning. But again, so that doesn't sound good, but expectations so low for all the retailers here. So even though comps are getting killed, they're looking at anything positive, and they're finding positive elsewhere in this report. And that's why the stock's trading up significantly in the pre-market.
Trading just off the highs of the pre-market session, 83 even. We just got it printed 82.99. Don't know if you need to step out in front of this one, but if it got up near $84 here, let's see. That's the daily. What am I seeing here at 84 bucks? Just above and below, you had three highs at the 84.50 area. This was back in May, 84.47, 84.43, and 84 even. So need to get to that pre-market high. Right now, it's your first resistance point using half and whole numbers. Just printed at 82. Nice run it going into it. I just don't know if you might want to see any kind of profit taking on this kind of report.
Joel and Dennis,
maybe, but let's just stop and talk to these retailers for a second. Don't you think it's kind of turned though? Like I just think, and we were talking about this, that the ball's turned a little bit here. I mean, Kohl's is up at 43 bucks here now. It was down at 36 just a few weeks ago when everybody was throwing every retailer out saying everything is Amazon and all these retailers are going out of business. This is not happening. I mean, I look at a lot of these charts. The Dillard's really was the one that exploded, but you can go and look at them all. They're all kind of the same story here. And you can say RH isn't the same story, but RH had the ridiculous rally. So it's just correcting. But, JWN, they were saying the deal might be off. Well, that price hasn't even, come down at all, even though the deal is off. And, we said that on the show too. But Macy's quiet consolidation here. I like the Macy's setup here right now. All these retailers here are looking a hell of a lot better.
I was actually going to jump in before that and say, Joel and Dennis, does this do anything for you for the big earnings reports later in the week? Macy's, Kohl's, JCPenney, and Nordstrom. I
don't want to be short them going in. Not after I'm seeing this. I'm seeing a 12% spike. They say anything okay, Macy's, it's going to pop. So, I think Macy's going to get a lift today. It's already up 20 cents in the pre-market, 30 cents. I think that one trade might be ahead of the report. When does Macy's report?
I think they're all on Thursday.
Because now you get traders thinking, okay, well, these reports are starting to come and go and buy some of these retailers ahead of the report. So there could be a run-up. You could have a trade even before the report, not even have to take the risk of the report. I think there could be a trade in the retailers here. I think, I like the Macy's setup. The Kohl's is kind of run already, but the Macy's looks, just kind of nice setup. I don't know. I'm just, not full-on bullish these things long-term here, but I think the selling was overdone, and I think they're due for a pop. You know which other one I like here too, Joel?
What do you got?
Costco. It had the big, it sold out to 150. We were hoping to get in the 140s. It didn't get there, put the double bottom 140. And then it had a 4 or 5 day ridiculous run up to 162. Well, we pulled back here. 155, 156 the last couple of days. It's like a 50% retracement.
Oh,
just kind of hanging here.
Did you even need me on the show? I mean, I was just going to say from 150 even, your whole number, up to 162. A perfect 50% retracement would be the 156 area.
Right there.
Yep. What was your low from?
I like it.
Yep, I do too.
Writing that one down too. I like the Costco too.
All right.
So I don't know. I never thought I'd get bullish these retailers, but a lot of these. Well, Costco, I've always liked. I don't think Amazon's going to put Costco out of business, and I think it might have impacted somewhat, but I don't even think it's going to be substantial. So, they've knocked 30 points off that thing because of potential of Amazon coming into their space, which is scary. I'll give you that. But hell, still, you go in those stores, they are just packed. You can't find a parking spot. So maybe it'll open up their parking lots a bit more.
and John Dodson noting that JCPenney's is actually on Friday, but the other three that we mentioned are Thursday. So something to keep an eye on for sure.
And JCPenney, it's not a bad setup right now. Just kind of hanging here. It's had a little run up. It's been disappointing. I mean, long term, I think the company is in trouble. But short term here, ahead of the report, could see some buyers come in, and that's what we are. We're traders, opportunistic. We take tells from other stocks. The tells I'm taking is the Michael Kors report was great, and the Ralph Lauren's trading up on it too. I mean, if these two stocks turn around and give it all back, I'm not saying they're going to do that. If they did that, I would take that whole scenario off the table. But I don't think they're giving it back. So if these things, and the Kors continues to run, it's now over $42. They're showing strength. That makes me, think about these other retailers a lot.
560 if you're trading that JC Penney here. You bounced off that on Friday, and then a couple weeks ago. Just go and look at your daily charts going all the way back to early May. That 560 critical resistance went off the board here at 539, but that's the level I'm keeping on. If we got any traders of JC Penney.
A couple of people in the chat want to know about Twilio, TWLO, and they did report last night. And Twilio is another dog that is barking here this morning. We got a theme going on, guys, and it is up 13%. TWLO must have blew it away, Spencer.
Q2 adjusted EPS of a 5-cent loss versus an 11-cent loss. Estimate sales of 95.9 versus $86.24 million. So a good Q2 there. They're also raising their outlook for the fiscal year. Their Q3 guidance is coming in about where it was expected to be, and they're raising their fiscal year EPS and their fiscal year sales numbers.
What exactly does Twilio do? Do we know?
Yeah,
throw everybody under the bus.
It's a Detroit company, right? Was the guy started from our area?
I think so, but that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say they provide the technology for companies like WhatsApp.
Okay, so they're somewhere in that text. Okay.
Yes.
Anyways, stock getting a nice lift. Can't argue with the chart. It's had a consolidation period, and now it pops. I mean, am I coming here and chasing it up here now? No, I don't think so. I think it's run a long ways from the gap down low after the last earnings report. It was 22. Now it's 34.5. So it's just in the middle of nowhere for me, so no trade. I'm not coming here. What's Nick Shaheen? He's not going to be on today because of the hurricane, but I already screwed up, Joel. Can you say it? He says too high to chase, too hot to short.
Yep.
Say it right?
You got it.
I think I got it right. Finally, after like 25 attempts at that, Nick, I finally got your saying right.
He's probably like huddled under some tree on a tropical island listening.
Where is he? Caught in a hurricane.
I don't know where he is. I just know he emailed me late last night. He said he's stuck in a hurricane. And that's all it said. So it didn't elaborate. So I
can't call live from the hurricane, like from the eye of the storm, Nick Shaheen giving you option trades.
Like
that would be cool. That'd be a good thing. I think we get some viewers on that.
Like
calling from the eye of the storm just to talk options with you.
Like Jim Cantore, is that the guy for the Weather Channel? We could have Nick up there posting charts. But this is a Sean Udall favorite here. It's been a favorite of his for quite some time. So I'm sure he's enjoying this move. That initial spike went to 35.71, and that was quick. So if you were sleeping and you missed that in the after hours trading, you might have missed the high of the day, because I think that traders are now ganging up at the $35 level, couple highs just over 35. And then what I like to do when I'm trying to find a relevant level, I go to the daily charts here, and you can see had a couple highs just above 34, but we're trading above that. But you had a 34.95 high on February 13th of this year. 35 buffeted by a whole number. So that's where you go. That's where you need to bust through. If this was holding over 35 in the first 15-minute bracket, then I'd say it's going to continue going higher. If they can absorb all those sellers there, good for them. If not, maybe some back and fill here in Twilio.
Let's talk Marriott, MAR earnings.
I was going to say real quick, Brent Slava with the assist, Tropical Storm Frankie. So Nick is probably somewhere.
Franklin.
Nick is probably somewhere in the Cancun area but I moved. We renamed that to Tropical Storm Nick. But anyway, Marriott is where you want to head to, Dennis. So that's where we will go. MAR reporting earnings yesterday. Q2 adjusted EPS of $1.13 versus $1.02 was the estimate. So they beat by 11 cents there. Sales 5.795 bill versus 5.61. So a good sales number as well. Good Q2 overall for Marriott. Their Q3 total fee revenues are pretty much in line, $810 to $825 million.
Pop in the drop, Joel.
Yeah, Dennis, because you put your foot down at 110 after it went.
Did it get up to 110?
It got up to 110.80. And if you're
man, you know what? You just gotta not even worry about the reports. You just see these highs and the stocks, barely strong. It goes back and challenges the all-time high, and it's an okay report, pretty good report. They just come in. Those highs hold a lot of times. It's silly, but it's just true. People are looking for a point, and there you had two highs right back at the all-time high, 110.35, 110.51. And it holds. Joel's levels hold.
Right. I mean, if you would have attended that 1051, you would have taken 29 cents worth of heat. Now you're quite a bit in the money here. Hanging out at 103. Just kind of quiet here. You had a 103 even print here, down 317. Maybe let's see what happens in the lower. If we keep going here in the lower 102s, your 4-day low, 102.05, and then you go back a few more days, you had a 02 low and a 191 low. So that if I was holding out for short to see what happens at the multiple lows at the 102 area, coming back, if you go into rally mode, you need to get to all the way to 105.70 to fill the gap from yesterday's trading. I like Marriott's. I think Marriott's are pretty nice hotels. So we'll see what happens. Just hold it steady here at 103.
Still flying through the earnings parade here with CBS report just around 8 o'clock. Spencer, give us those details.
Yeah, CBS. Remember, we were talking about this yesterday as to why it's so high compared to its peers. Well, we have our answer. So first, the EPS and the sales. $1.04 versus 98 cents. Sales of 3.3 versus 3.09 billion dollars. So good EPS, good sales number. And the reason that CBS doing so well. CBS All Access, which is their streaming service, which of course it's all about the streaming now and not necessarily the ratings. They're expanding that internationally, and what they had said before was that their goal was for All Access to have 8 million subscribers by 2020. They now say that's a conservative estimate. They're on pace to hit 4 million by the end of the year. So 8 million by 2020 seems very conservative for their CBS All Access, which is their a la carte streaming service.
So you watch that on your phone?
Anywhere. Yep, your phone, your iPad. It's the CBS Netflix combined, pretty much.
You know what's massively confusing to me?
What
is because I asked for CVS, see Charlie Victor.
Oh, sorry.
And I got CBS earnings,
Sorry.
But that's okay. We need to get to CBS earnings too. I guess I should have gave, I said Charlie Victor Simon instead of, just saying CVS, but we needed to do CBS too. So I was like, listening to this report and I was like, man, this is actually very confusing. And then I was like, oh, wait, he's not talking the drugstore. He's talking the network. Well, let's talk CBS now because Spencer's giving us the details. So Charlie, Bob, Simon.
Yeah, we're trading up here. Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm going to go to the daily charts. And, man, street kind of leading the wrong way into the report. You had a nice sell-off from the just mid-$68 handle. I'll look at the dailies here, and I'll go with 65 because you're clearing a couple tops, a perfect double top from Friday and Monday at 64.63. So you've cleared that. Hold there. Good to go north. If you get red, you got the close at 452, so that's a little ways away. I don't know. This is really a wishy-washy chart because you had a nice run-up, sell off into the report. I don't know.
It's a wishy-washy chart. I don't see a trade here.
Either do I.
If it would have started going down, I could say maybe it gets Viacom because we know Viacom had an okay report and then they murdered it. But we're not seeing that in CBS here. And I listened to part of the conference call and they weren't saying anything bearish either here. So it's popped up at $65, but it's kind of in the middle of nowhere to me. I mean, if it turned around and went red and started taking out the lows of 63, then it gets interesting here. But I think, where it's trading right now, I just don't see a trade. What do you think of Viacom, though? You know, here you are. They have absolutely murdered the stock to a pounding where they basically say, you know, this is just, you know, well, I don't know if it's going out of business, but, you know, this is just, you know, doesn't have the future that a lot of these other traditional media does, which may be the case, but is valuation, you know, attract you at all here, Joel, on a stock like Viacom? I mean, we're at a big level. $30 is where we got down to when they were flushing the toilet on this thing back in 2016. And we kind of tried to hold that the last couple of days. You interested at all here in VIAB?
I mean, from a fundamental perspective, not with all the tons of debt. From a technical perspective, yeah, you got something to lean on here. Buyer stepped up from 30.21 to 30.26. So from a risk reward ratio, you know, if you're trying it here, even in the mid $30 handle, you give yourself a little bit of an out, even if it takes out 30. I mean, the institutions, that's why you stopped at 21 and 26. Probably a pile of institutional bids there at that area. So, yeah, for a swing trade, I mean, from a risk-reward ratio, you got a lot of room here for some kind of retracement based on the debt. And I don't even know what TV shows they have, so I'm probably –
I got you back, Joel. So Viacom owns MTV, which
was popular about when I was in college.
1980.
Yeah.
Right. I actually I don't know. Probably you guys probably didn't see, but MTV is bringing back a lot of their programming from the mid 2000s when I was growing up, early to mid 2000s. So I thought that's
what else do they own? It's more than MTV.
Okay, I'm getting there. So they own Comedy Central, they own Spike, they own VH1, TV Land, CMT, Nickelodeon, BET. That's pretty much the main properties right there.
These are all the show.
A lot of second tier networks.
Dennis, I'm out. Cancel that 30 and a half.
You know what?
I'm out. I'm shorting it. To bring it back.
Don't they have every like billboard that goes by too? Like when I'm driving my car and I look at a billboard, I always see Viacom on the bottom of those billboards. Are they still doing that too?
I don't even know what you're
that was the spit. He's talking about.
You know, billboards. You know the things you look at when you drive your car.
Yes, I know. I know what a billboard is.
No, because Spencer's texting while he's driving. He's not looking at the road.
I'm looking at the billboard. I read the billboards, and a lot of those billboards are Viacom too. Are they not?
It was CBS Outdoors. Is that part of it that they?
No, CBS is CBS.
Yeah, but they spun off Viacom.
Right, they got spun off by.
You're saying they spun off the billboards?
Yeah, they got rid of the billboards. They gave them the Viacom, and look what's happened to them. No.
Anyways, you know, from a valuation perspective, John Dodson in the chat is saying he gives them an A on valuation. I've looked at valuation before too. P multiple 7.5. Is it a value trap? Well, it has been up till now. You got the 30 level. I mean, there is an argument there that 30 holds, and if 30 holds, then, you know, this could be another case where the dogs turn around and start to bark. So I think there's a trade here. I'm not sure there's an investment. I think it takes out 30. So I have a defined risk here. If I'm coming in here and buying this thing at 30.58, I'm risking myself. Goes 29.75, maybe risk myself a point. Goes 29.75 or 29.58, I'm out. If, you know, and I'm looking here for it to maybe get back up into the 35 area where it was congested before. So you can easily set up a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio here anyway. So if you're picking up this morning at 30.58. So I don't mind it. I think if you're in this thing and it starts taking out 30 though, I think I'd be scared.
Hey, you want to catch up on some of the stocks here in the chat before we fall?
Yeah, the chat has been buzzing with a lot of non-earning stocks here. So let's go. Where do you want to go?
MYOK?
Okay, I know nothing about MYOK. I'll bring it up though right now because this one's a new one to me.
They had earnings on Monday. Earnings on Monday, and they missed it.
Holy cow! We should be knowing something about this. Blast off into orbit. Was that a drug? Is this a drug company?
Yeah,
moves like that usually make me think it's a drug company.
Yes, it is a drug company. They had
I guess that right.
Positive top line result in study announced Monday morning. Then they missed their earnings numbers. Then they announced a proposed public offering of 3.5 million shares of common stock on Monday afternoon.
And do we know what price the offering is at?
That's all I have for you.
Typically what happens though, these offerings don't mean as much on the drugs because they get approval and then they have to raise the money to do, you know, whatever to get the drugs in production here. So that's why they usually do it. You often see that. You see a big pop and then you see a secondary. It's typically only maybe a couple bucks down. And it doesn't really pull it in as much as, you know, an offering where they're looking to raise cash to survive. These guys are looking to raise cash to fund their operation. they've got, the approval that they needed, and now we need some more cash to keep going. So you typically see that. So I'm not that concerned that I had an offering.
Yeah, or the price. I think today's a big day for this stock. You had that. It doubled yesterday, almost doubled. You got to close an all-time closing high. The former all-time high was made in 2016 at 22.83. I would just keep the eye on that 31.45. Yeah, 32.30 is important because that was the all-time high. But to me, we're trading a little bit in the red here. I'd like to see, the best thing for the stock after this kind of move that it had yesterday would be if it could just hold in there, maybe down, it's down 40 cents right now, if it's down, a buck or 80 cents or something. But really, if it holds in today, then I think, it's a sustained move. I just wonder if, the sellers yesterday say, hey, I'm just going to let this breathe. I'm going to sell tomorrow after it goes from 17.15 to 31.45. Traded 8.8 million shares. The previous day it traded 275,000. So if it goes back to its normal volume and the big seller decides to come in, this could give a lot of it back. But keep an eye on that closing price of 31.45. That's a great level.
Lots of smaller companies here this morning. Ed Parker in the chat wants to know about Edit, EDIT, which Editas Medicine. I've seen this one before. I don't think I've ever traded it. It is trading up in the pre-market. Is there news on this one, Spencer? Had a pretty good run yesterday. It's up another 3% here this morning. Do you see something in the pro on EDIT?
I have not seen anything on Edit.
Okay. I'm not sure if there's something kicking around out there on EDIT, but it's moving up. And if I was trading this from a technical basis,
$20.
I don't know, $20, the psychological level. It's run here from, breaking out from 18. I see some congestion back in May up at 20. That's a level that I'm looking at here this morning. I know nothing fundamentally about this company, though.
1977, that was your high from yesterday. You backed off the close at 1861, and Dennis pointed out that 20 high from yesterday. You hit 20 right on the nose. No, just shy, 1995. That was your high back on May 16th. So still 70, 80 cents away to get up there, but $20 and a couple highs just above it too. Coming back on the downside after a nice run yesterday. Is there any volume with this thing trading this morning? Let me check the volume.
1,800.
Not
light.
A lot. Yeah. You want to see it hold. Once again, another close. Another close is important to this one. So let's see if it can hold that close of 1861.
Also, AJK wants to know about solar stocks, and specifically wants to know about the ETF, or actually no, it's runs on the ETF. It's what's the ETF that's the solar one?
Isn't it Ray?
It's got the good name.
Is it Ray?
It's not Run. It's
TAN.
Solar TAN. That's it. Run's a good symbol too, though. But Sunrun is an actual company here, though. So SUN or RUN we're talking about here. Getting the beats in the pre-markets, trading down at 685. I mean, some of these solar stocks have run up. We've been talking about them for a while. I still own Canadian Solar. Had a pretty good day there yesterday. First Solar's been on a pretty good tear. It's held up not bad. RUN, Joel, give us technical thoughts on this one. And is there news here? Obviously, this one's down 7%. Must be some news, Spencer.
I mean, not
earnings.
They had earnings yesterday after the bell. Then I keep forgetting today doesn't feel like a Tuesday to me. So yeah, yesterday after the bell.
Yeah, yesterday after the bell. What they give us?
Yesterday was Monday. Q2 EPS 23 cents versus 31 cents in the same quarter last year. Sales of 137.8 versus 122.5 last year as well. They see Q3 deployments up 15% year over year, which is obviously a good number.
I like
light volume,
yeah.
Ugly spike down here though, but there is some bids. I see 680 littered with 6,200 shares bidding at 680. That's substantial. Also see another 2,000 behind that at 670. So there is some stuff bidding out there in the pre-market, which makes me think, that it has hope here, but this is an ugly candle for the stock.
Very ugly. And what's interesting though is your initial spike took it down under $7, right? And it took it to 665. So look at you had 3 or 4 lows right at the 650 area. This was back in late June, and it's just kind of holding steady in here. So obviously, if I was short, I'd try to be bringing it in between 650 and 680. If you're trying to long here, what you got to realize, if it doesn't hold the 650, a lot of air down to $6. So we'll see if it can hold the pre-market low. It seems to be catching a bit as we speak to fill the gap from yesterday to hit yesterday's low 724. Dennis, Downward Dog. He says, Dennis, would you consider selling a put on Tesla?
Not me. you know how much I love Tesla. As I've talked the last 2 years on this show, that the valuation scares the hell out of me. But I've been dead wrong on it. But I'm not going to sell puts on it and all of a sudden go against everything that I've been saying for the last 2 years. It's still a valuation issue for me. I think the technology is awesome. Obviously the cars are awesome. Maybe it is a lot more than just a car company, but it's just a valuation. It's just not my style. So Tesla's not for me. Not at this valuation. So no. The other thing I'll say is when you're writing a put on a stock like this, it depends. It's hard to just go and write a put and say, okay, well, if I buy, if I'm going to buy a stock, why not write a put? And then, I'm going to take in premium. And if it goes up, I'm going to make my premium. If it goes down, well, I want to buy the stock anyways. The problem is you limit your upside though by buying the put, or by selling a put. You're limiting your upside to just the premium. So that's the downside. You're taking on the risk. As the thing all of a sudden, tanks, you're going to be eating it. And, if it takes off, well, you're only going to get the premium. So I guess it depends on how high the premium is. But, I've always just been a fan of just, if I like the stock, I'd buy it.
Put spread. I mean, if you're thinking of doing anything like
Safer.
that, yeah. Once again, you are limiting your upside here, but at least if you do any kind of put spread beneath the market, I mean, you could get tanned if it tanks, but at least you're covered with the lower end of the spread. So that's what I would say. I'm looking at 360 here. We grabbed it yesterday. We're trading up in the pre-market. We're trading up $3 on 75,000 shares. So that's nothing to shake a stick at.
There was there some coverage there? I thought
was it coverage, or they're issuing more debt? Dennis, it's funny. I was gonna ask you, maybe Downward Dog is getting it on our computers here, because I was going to ask you, would you buy Tesla debt? Because that's what they're doing. They're issuing debt.
And, there was coverage too. Argus upgrading to a buy.
Oh, that's right.
There you go. I knew there was something. There you go. So that's why it's up. Argus. Thank you, Argus. Thank you, Spencer.
360. I mean, if you get to 360 here, you could be trading in 370 in a heartbeat, because
I mean, there's trades in here, and like I say, Tesla's not for me. I'm speaking with my investor hat on. That's not speaking with my trader hat on. I've traded Tesla lots.
Did you try a swing around 300, 310?
Yeah, I picked it up. I got 15 points off it. I wish I would have held, though. I picked up, maybe it wasn't 15 points. It was a good 10 points. I bought around 308. I sold around like 317, 318. That was, on that reversal day. Actually, I would think it might have been even trading in the after hours session, but obviously I should have held on to it, but it was more of a day trade for me than anything. So I even get scared to have a swing trade on this thing, because I've been bearish this dog for so long. I'd be like, just my luck. I decide, I'm going to do a swing long on it. And then some bad news comes out and then I'm eating it. So I don't mind day trading. I'm just scared of it overnight even. But anyways, so Tesla, yeah, there's a setup here. I agree. If you get over 360, it could be challenging, eventually challenge the all-time highs again. I mean, momentum is on the stock side once again.
Flack UK said he sat in the Model 3 yesterday, and it was the cheapest feeling car he had ever been in. So,
really?
Yeah.
Really? Quality of the trim, poor, he's saying, compared to a similar BMW. It felt like a toy car, like a Christmas cracker toy. I don't know. That's a tough. I've never sat in one, so I've never been in a Tesla before. I do know that I hear they're simple. Like they're very, like it's simple. That's what, their whole idea is. So. But I don't know. That's the first I've actually heard that somebody didn't like the car.
Couldn't be any cheaper than the Chevette I had when I was in high school. But it used to work. I used to tell the girls I had a vat, is what I used to tell them.
The Chevette. Then the Chevette pulls up, and then they're like, I've got something came up.
All right. Did we catch up with all the stocks in the chat here, Dennis?
No, they're throwing them at us left, right, and center. We could probably spend the rest of the show on stocks in the chat. So let's go back. I'm just going to scroll up here a little bit. FireEye. Who was it asking about FireEye? I saw it go by. It was Frankie. Frankie23 is asking about FireEye. FEYE. And I'll bring up the chart here right now. This is a tough one, because you're at the bottom of the range, but it's kind of hanging here. It got down here, and when it comes down to support around that $14, you kind of want to see it bounce out of there. and it hasn't bounced out of there yet, and that's concerning. We did. I mean, I guess you can say we closed at 1439, so we bounced a bit off 14. It's got to hold 14. I mean, it goes through that, and then I'm real scared.
Yeah, I don't know about the gap. I think, was that off the last earnings report here back in May? See, that's the thing. I'm looking at it like, if I buy 14, I have an out at 1360 on that gap up day. But I'd be so, like, if we were looking at this chart right now and it filled the gap and went 1250, maybe went between 12 and 1250, I'd feel real comfortable about that. But man, this is a gappy chart because it never filled the gap from March either. So I don't know. Don't have a great feeling for this one. And we'll see. 14. Let's look at yesterday's low, 1402. I will tell you this thing. I mean, it's not going to have a long-term sustained uptrend as you could finally poke your head above 16 and hold. And I think we've been talking about that. Several highs just over 16. So yeah, bottom of the range here. Just look out if it starts to go into a gap fill.
Okay, I'm skipping a few because GWPH, Spinner just talked about GWPH, and this is like right on the top of my list to talk about today. Spinner saying, did anyone short the Guy Adami call there on Fast Money? I did. I shorted it. I covered it too soon, though. The day trader in me, I shorted because, okay, we talked about this 2 days ago on the show. I was saying how influential Fast Money is, and Guy Adami on Fast Money was saying this thing could go to $200 or $300 on a takeout. He was saying basically that somebody could buy this thing. And the stock went, when Guy Adami said that, from like 110 up to 118 in like 5 minutes. It was a crazy move. Yeah. I was like, really? I'm like, really? Because Guy Adami on Fast Money is saying, there's a potential for a takeout here. I mean, this isn't an analyst saying it. Guy Adami is, got some great commentary and stuff. It's just surprising that he can move it more than even an analyst can. So anyways, I was surprised at that, and I shorted on that move. I covered it at 115 the next day, so I made 2.5 points, day trader and me. It kept going, though. It kept going yesterday. Actually, even yesterday at the highs, it got up to 122. But then it started to sink, and they started to pull the rug out from under it. And now this morning, we've got a downgrade. We've got Maxim downgrading the stock here this morning. And that is why the stock is back down to where it came from, down 5 points. So if you were shorting and holding on off the CNBC pop, you once again make money. There's a lot of money to be made on just fading these little CNBC pops. Not saying we're fading the gas, but sometimes when you get these big moves, like 5-6% off somebody's commenting on CNBC, it's just overdone.
I actually want to elaborate a little bit on the reason for the downgrade this morning there from Maxim. So they did note that Zynerba, who is a competitor, right, ZYNE, they had some negative data on Monday. Their competitive drug to GWPH failed. And while that initially caused a spike in GWPH, it ended up closing the day down, as the reality set in that maybe there's just broad-based concern about the entire epilepsy medical solution that they're working on right now. So there's broad-based concern about all the drugs in the space that are treated for epilepsy, as well as the fact that they have a high valuation.
Trading down, as Dennis mentioned, trading down 530 in the pre-market session. Pre-market low, not a lot of volume, 0850. And where did I see a level here? This whole thing started from 0793. That was a low back. That's your monthly low. So trying to, for a shorter term trade, I'd try and hold out for the lower 108 handle or even 107.93. Doesn't look like he's getting much of a bounce yet. A lot of people probably caught on that move as well. Filling the gap. Oh, if you ever get near 114 again, you're going to find mounds of sellers. Old double bottom there from Friday and Monday, 14.22, 14.25. Also, Priceline, they're due to report soon, correct?
PCL's reporting tonight.
After the bell.
Tonight. Dennis, how you playing it?
GWPH did report earnings too, though. Like we were saying, it's tonight. It did report this morning.
That's right. I guess so.
They did reports, but I don't know.
It was yesterday after the bell. They reported Q3 EPS $2.07 versus $1.51 loss estimate. Sales of 3.138 versus 2.57 billion dollars. And if I could actually contradict what I just said, from the analyst note, Alan Brockstein, who has been on our show a number of times, he's the 420 investor, said that the failure of the Zynerba drug is actually positive news for GWPH, as it is reduced competition. So I guess it depends on how you see this entire epilepsy drug space. Are you concerned in general, or do you still have confidence that GWPH will be able to move forward with their drug?
If you're asking me, I have no idea.
I'm saying in general.
It's always an evaluation issue for me.
But I'm saying that's the question.
Is definitely not my style because there's don't even make money. So I like to have money being made money. I like my dividend stocks. GWPH is not my style at all. So
I'm saying that's the question you need to ask yourself.
Okay, that's the question if you're investing in it. I'm not asking myself that question. I'm not investing it. So Priceline does report here after the bell. Flack UK has been asking a couple times about it. I mean, it's right up at all-time highs. It's run up significantly into the report. So we know what that means. It has to go blow it away. If it doesn't blow it away, it's probably going down. So that's how I would approach it here. It's strong in the reports, even up in the pre-market. We're down, but Priceline's up, so people are trading it up a little bit in the pre-market as well. Could have a decent day. Big psychological, probably around that 2050 area. That's where we're approaching. What's all-time high, Joel? Right there, eh? 2044?
This is
We're saying the pre-market.
Yeah, with that pre-market print at 2049. To me, this is not so much sure what it's going to do off the earnings, but I like to see what it's going to do off the open here, because there's no doubt about it that you've had an institution or a large trader really targeting anything above 2040, all-time high 44.51. The second highest high, 43.95. So someone definitely congregating here, 40, as a sell area. Now you're trading up in the pre-market. Let's see if they come in again. The only thing you have here is your 2050, your psychological levels, 2055. Yeah. But I'd like to see, especially with the SPOOs down 375, I'd like to see how it digests this higher up. And you might not even see 2049 in the regular session.
It's hard to say. I mean, we're going to get an earnings report here. I'm assuming they're going to beat, but it could be one of those scenarios where it pumps and drops. So it depends on how big they beat. If they absolutely blow it away, you could have the gap and go. So that's the scenario that I would set up on this. Because it's run up in the report, it has to blow it away to gap and go. If it just beats, it might gap up, and that might be your chance to fade it, and actually could be the gap and give it back. So, and if it misses, it's getting killed. If it comes in line, it's getting killed. So expectations are high for PCL into the report. That's why I'd be scared to own it into the report. But if they blow it away, it'll go higher.
All right. Flack UK was looking at Expedia. Came off their earnings, 161 down to the 150 area. Yeah. So closely related companies, but $2,050 stock can, what is that expected move? 100, 150 bucks on something like that would be interesting to check the straddle on that one.
Well, we needed to call Nick from the Hurricane. He'd be telling us about that. A couple people in the chat have been talking about Wayfair, which is symbol W. It's got one of those unique, only one-letter ticker symbols. Spinner's talking about it. We've got John Dodson talking about it. It got the pop. It got the drop. Give us the numbers here, Spencer. Another stock that ran up into the report, so we knew they had to blow it away. And apparently they obviously didn't do good enough.
Well, pretty good numbers. 46-cent loss was the estimate. 26-cent loss is what they're reporting. So they beat that by 20 cents. Sales of 1.1 versus 1.06 billion. So yeah, not great on the sales, but the EPS 20 cents higher than the expectation is pretty good.
So we popped off this this morning. John said we got up to over 87 bucks. Is that true?
87.50.
Oh, wow. And if you were fading that, you're making money. You're already up $9.
And just hanging out here at the lows of the pre-market session. I'll just give you a couple daily lows to keep an eye on. And we haven't even hit Friday's low of 76.85. So that's one potential target. Thing is if it takes that out, I see nothing until the middle 73 handle, two lows at 323 and 358. So we'll see. It doesn't look like they're done. This is online furniture, right? Or they sell other things? Wayfair W? Okay. All right.
Spencer, what else do they sell?
I just know that they sell furniture, honestly. I don't really know what else they sell besides that. But I see their ads all the time on Facebook. All the time.
And
they're hitting you. You must be in the furniture
yes,
buying.
Well, yeah.
They figure that out, man. That Facebook's smart. They're like, Spencer needs a new couch. We're gonna hit him with his Wayfair ads.
I need a new everything, Dennis. I need a new place to live. Can I just move in with you at this point?
Hey, yeah, you can travel across the border there, help take care of the
kids.
kids.
Get your papers, you'd be okay.
You have 2 Spencers there. That's all you need. This one, talk about Mr. Left here, man. He's been short this one. He's been short Tesla. He's been long BlackBerry, right? He's had a
little slump. He's been hot for a long time, though.
Yeah.
He was short Nvidia. Nvidia made new highs yesterday. I don't know if he covered.
Yeah.
Nvidia new all-time highs yesterday.
Yeah.
Nvidia new all-time highs here again this morning. Market goes down. Nvidia don't care. Honey Badger stock now. We're off to the races. Is this going to hit $200? Is Nvidia going to be a $200 stock? I think it is.
Well, 174.85.
This is a big breakout for it now. 170. That's a huge breakout.
AMD's kind of sleepy though. AMD's not participating.
It plays catch up eventually, though. It makes me interested. So yeah, I've been interested in AMD forever, but I've never bought it. Like I've traded it, but I've never put it in the investment account. I've been interested for a while and sticking it in there, but it's one of those that I don't know now. I want it in the 11s now. I'd be buying in the 13s. I don't know. I'm too cheap. I hear that cheapness out of me.
All right. Let's see here. Before we
There's
go
a billion symbols. Where do you want to go?
Car.
Okay, yeah, we didn't talk this one yet. And this Avis budget got murdered last night, and it has come almost all the way back. So CAR, give us the numbers last night, Spencer. This is another example of dogs barking.
30 cents versus a 58-cent estimate on the EPS. So obviously not good. Sales 2.2 versus $2.27 billion. You see their fiscal year adjusted EPS coming in lower than the estimate, and their sales for the fiscal year coming in actually coming in higher than the estimate. That's weird.
Anyways, this is a mess of a report. It really kind of has been a mess of a stock. You can say, oh, it's run up in the last month. But really, when you put it in perspective, go to the monthlies. This was a $70 stock back in 2014, and it's 32 now. So it's been more than cut in half. We know why. Uber's obviously eating its lunch to a certain extent. When you get all these Ubers, they don't need to rent cars. But that being said, I'm impressed here with this comeback here, Joel. This thing was in the 20. How low did we get last night?
The initial spike down took it down to 29.27. And now you're battling your way all the way back. You haven't went green yet on the session. So, of course, you want to go green at 33.39. And they got yesterday's high right up here at 33.49. We're still a buck away from that. So, if you're short, you're hanging on for that. Also, remember, you had some highs at 34.28 back on March 17th. So, it's got to get green on the day before it clear 34, before I get real bullish on it. Nice bounce off the lows there. So I'm sure it's not going to be too easy if it does go into another reverse, because a lot of people that shorted it in the hole will be looking to cover.
Talking Hertz, which had a sympathy move last night with it, and I'm kicking myself because we've been saying the sympathy has been working that well. Car went down. This is trading in the low 14s, and I'm like, you know what? I should just buy this right now. It's going to report, tonight. I was saying this, last night to myself, and I didn't. And here it is. It's gotten all the losses back. It's trading in the green. I just watched Car report a disaster quarter, yet the stock is almost getting back to flat. Makes me think. I don't know. It makes me think that I'd kind of like Hertz into this report now.
Unchanged, 15.24, trading at 15.30. I got hit, ran up to 18, thought it was looking good, and then I think he got hit with a downgrade. I'm not sure who it was, but they put the hurt to the stock. 15.30. I didn't mean to do that, a pun. But major resistance, 16.09. That's a little over 79 cents away from here. If it does, in fact, get over there, you got a gap fill to 17.08. So you got some air in it. But important to clear 16 first. And, it's already 70 cents away. A lot of people probably stuck here as they got up to 18 and looked pretty good before you got that downgrade.
I want to give you a quick imbalance look, and then we'll jump back to the chat because there is some interesting one. Alibaba, once again, has a buy balance of 73,000 shares, but interesting enough, it's actually trading down. So somebody's saying there's somebody big going to come in and offset that. Fit 158.47. It's been a lot of days since we saw Baba open down, so that's interesting. That's just trading slightly in the red. MetLife 68,000 to buy here this morning. Stock hasn't really traded much this morning though. Square SQ 112,000 to buy in SQ. There's been some buyers last couple of days in SQ. Starting to get interesting. They did hit it off the report, but there's been some buyers starting to lurk here, and it's starting to show some life here again. So keep an eye on Square here today, especially at the open as it's looking like it's going to open up. Nike 46,000 to sell. That's kind of going the opposite way of Foot Locker, which actually got an upgrade here today. They've been talking about in the chat, and Foot Locker is trading up here this morning. So I look at Nike as maybe an opportunity, maybe at that imbalance this morning to fade it or to maybe buy into it. We'll have to see how it opens. That's pretty much a bulk of them. Twitter's 27,000 to sell. There was a reinstated, I believe from Mizuho, they reinstated it as an underperform.
What do you think about this Twitter here at 1638, trading down 2 cents in the premium? Look at $16, Dennis.
It's rounding here. It's starting to try to form a bottom at 16. You could get a bounce up to the 17 area here. It's down a little bit here this morning. It's not really that weak on this Mizuho note. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's showing some life.
It can work its way all the way up to 20 before its next earnings report, and then go back down to 16.
That's the way I like to trade them.
Just clockwork, Buy it ahead of the report, sell it, get out, get short, let it go down, let it consolidate. But really, it finally consolidated from the move. Nice round number around 16. The last gap from earnings you got to worry about here, but I think you got plenty of time to get out. Like if you got that close under 16, but it showed a little strength over the last couple of days.
It really is. So I don't mind that Twitter setup. COL, John Dodson saying, is this a bio candidate over 140 for real? We know there was rumors a couple days ago that UTX is sniffing around here. The rumor was that the price was well below 140 though, and they wanted 145. So I don't know if anything's going to come of this or not, or if they're going to up the ante a little bit more. Obviously, stock traded up substantially on the rumor that UTX was potentially maybe going to put a 140 bid in there. Has not materialized. So, is it in play? Well, at least they've got a buyer sniffing around. So that's all we can say right now.
You know what's interesting about this one? Didn't Rockwell Collins just take over BE Aerospace? Right?
Did that finalize that deal?
I mean, so
I don't see that on the board anymore.
Does UTX just want like a lot of debt? Is that what they want? Is that what their goal is? So I'm a little skeptical on this one.
They hit the UTX on this yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to be taking on tons of debt. I mean, because
be a huge merger. Huge merger.
I don't know. Little skeptical on that one. All right, Dennis.
You're getting some props here before we let you go. John Roberts, one of my followers on Twitter there, just said, Joel with his GS pick yesterday, he was right on. You were saying Goldman Sachs is setting up nice at that 230, and it popped and broke out, Joel. You're right.
I mean, how many times can it knock on the door of the same level? The other thing I was looking at is, you like to look at the peers in the space here. JP Morgan up and coming back nicely near all-time highs. Bank America flirting again back with the $25 level. Look at that, trying to close over that. So it was a little combo of, the market, of course, the SPOOs being up. But thank you. Thank you very much. Even a blind squirrel can find an acorn every once in a while. Spencer, 859. We just covered 82 stocks in the show today. It went okay.
We're trying to get to 100.
Yeah, it's okay with no guest here. We get to cover a lot of stocks for our listeners. That's what we like to do here on Benzinga's Pre-Market.
It was actually 81 stocks, but who was counting? On tomorrow's show, we're going to be joined by Tim Melvin, assuming, of course, he does not get caught in this hurricane. Tim's in Florida, so he could be in this path of the same storm. I'll have to hit him up today and find out. But he's, of course, a MarketFi maven. He's the author of the Tim Melvin Deep Value Letter, Banking on Profit as well. Those are Tim's products on marketfi.com. You can Google any of those products or any of those names to learn more about that. But as far as our show today, you can catch the whole thing again on our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Just search for Benzinga or Pre-Market. You can also watch the show as it aired live on youtube.com/BenzingaTV, and you can subscribe to our channel to get notified whenever we go live every day. Usually it's around 7:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget about the Benzinga FinTech Summit, September 28th in San Francisco. To learn more, go to bzsummit.com. If you want to rub shoulders with Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank and some top fintech leaders in the space, you can do that at the Benzinga FinTech Summit. So have a good rest of your day, folks. Good luck out there, and we'll be back with you on Tuesday.